Welcome back, guys, to BrainlessGeek. I'm your DM, Bob, and this is the campaign Long Live the Silver Blades. This is session number 2, episode 1. Thanks for joining us. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And I hope you have fun watching us play some good old Dungeons and Dragons. So where we had last left off, the party had found themselves in this small den of kobolds and goblins, where they were attacked in a surprise attack. They were able to fend off the kobolds and the goblins, slay them in a unceremonious, well, how would you call it? I guess a sacrificial to the water gods. As the goblins and kobolds were tied up and tossed into the raging waters, as Jard had a mental breakdown, crying, weeping, sobbing, unknown to him that this mental breakdown was due in part to the priestess and her boon, as she calls it.
I will explain that to him.
But do you even know that that happens because of you?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
because
like
this is the first time I've been a part of a party since
right?
I've taken these
so
vows.
You might have an idea, but realistically, like, I'll let you think on that for a minute.
Say whether or not we play
Yeah, like you might not know. You might just think that he's just a wimp.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did say it felt like I got hit in the back too when.
Yeah, well, it's because it is coming
so
off
it's
of
like,
you. But so that's something that you'd have to decide on your own whether your character would attach those things together.
I think
so
I might be.
The den is clear. Whatever damage that these kobolds and goblins would cause has been ended, as they are most likely drowning to death somewhere right now. I bet you feel good about that, don't you, heroes, murder hobos?
I just want to say I was against this. No one can say that I wasn't.
I was gonna say this live stream.
I'm sorry, and I
I don't know why you're sorry to me. You should be sorry to the poor little creatures who drowned.
But to be fair, they
At
were
least someone agreed.
evil creatures.
Right,
I
but
mean, they're just
but
gonna.
we're expected to be better. We shouldn't be drowning things.
Would you rather me?
If you had just killed them, I would be slightly more okay with it, because they wouldn't suffer. They suffered pretty bad, bro.
They sit and have this almost like mild sibling kind of argument as their voices echo throughout the sewer system, barely audible over the actual rushing torrent of water in the middle going down the drain pipe. The lights of your light spell still flicker on and off, and the spell begins to fade. So it kind of causes like a small strobing effect a little bit. Jard sits over in a corner, knees to chest, arms wrapped around them, rocking back and forth as he sobs gently. Now you don't know if taking him with you was a good idea. Of course, it was kind of forced upon you, so yeah, it was mostly forced upon you.
That Silverblade guy kind of just decided we were going to take charge. We were like, this guy's a thief. Sure.
The swirling water I use loosely, the swirling drainage and underground river water mixing creates a misting effect. So this entire area in here is very moist. And the algae that grows all along the walls is thick, and you see like weird mushrooms kind of growing out of it, and the algae, like moss, grows up in like wedges and is like digging through the cracks in the stonework. This place is very much alive, full of like flora, like that you would find growing in this kind of bacteria-laden area. The spiders that crawl and skitter across the floor are the size of small house pets, and all sorts of things. A mosquito, it's like a mosquito, which you wouldn't think you'd find in this kind of environment, but it obviously has adapted. Lands on top of Garwin's arm, and it's like the size of a baseball, and you swat it away. This isn't a nice place to be. This is not and it's very...
But the mushrooms, are those edible mushrooms? I don't think so.
Garwin's overlooking at these mushrooms poking out of this moss.
Because there are
vine kind of growing up.
mushrooms that are quite...
Well, you could always take them, just in case. Hopefully they're not contact poison.
I'm not gonna try that.
I haven't heard this, so I should be
Roll it. If you'd like to.
If you can identify the mushrooms,
I mean, I wouldn't touch any random.
Okay, I only got a 4, I'm not sure.
Okay, so, hold on. You're pretty sure they're edible.
I will grab some.
Okay. He starts to harvest the mushrooms off the moss wall, just taking out a small knife, and because you try to like tear them off, and they're quite sturdy. I mean, yeah, you could manhandle and just pull them off. They're tremendous strength.
What mushrooms are supposed to touch this place? Do they work here?
The strange thing is you're not familiar with these. Like this You haven't. This isn't your area, and you haven't been down here in a while.
Right.
Like this seems.
Well, considering
Abrupt?
that I'm trying to identify these by course factor, I'm going to take a few,
I'd be
and then in the
careful,
light,
Garwin.
maybe I can do another identification.
I've never seen those, and
I'm just going to stick them in a little bag.
He just sticks them in his pouch.
I don't know where those howls
Who
got
knows?
here.
Maybe later make a soup. He'll poison you all.
I'm not gonna do it.
Characters.
I'll stick with my
Shortest
rations until
campaign
those
ever.
frickin' mushrooms are gone.
So you harvest some of them.
Mm-hmm.
The plus side of this area and all the sound of the water, other than the misting effect, and you know you're getting hit with like bacteria water as it just like collects in your body, is you can't hear everything else. So the horrible sounds of this place that you were hearing before have become inaudible. So that's a good and bad thing, right? You can't hear what's trying to come kill you, and you can't. The water rushes around.
So is there a direction we need to take, or?
We were heading deeper in because we were following the source
Yes,
of
but
poison.
We're here, right?
There's this direction, and then there's
I'm not sure
following
which
the
direction.
water that way.
Anyone have direction sense?
I might be able to use detect poison to see where the residual poison from before is, as well.
That's probably a good idea.
If you guys want me to.
That'll work.
Or see which direction
follows
it's coming
is
from,
right,
because
I
this
guess
is
we
a-
follow the
Yeah.
water.
The problem with this area is that your scent is like muddled
It's just disgusting.
because there's so much scent, and you're trying to pick out what
And which way would lead deeper into the water system, like deeper into the city?
towards me on that map. So
That's
This
not the way we
direction.
came from.
no, you
No,
came
we
from that
came from
direction.
this
No.
side.
So if we don't have any other way to guide us out,
We have
So
that
whatever
way,
this
and then
is-
there's a path off to the
There's a path
right.
off the
whatever this
there.
is probably that dead.
No, well,
So,
Beverly usually needs
somewhere.
sinews.
Her detect poison should be able to determine which direction is coming from.
One
primarily.
problem is if it is somewhere from the center, it could be everywhere. It could just be going in all directions.
Could be.
True.
I mean,
I mean, at this point, we don't
I'll
really
try
have
it. I'll try it. I'll use detect poison, and I'll focus on the three main
Did we
waterways
rest?
that lead
have not
into
rested
this.
We should probably do that soon. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Ian brings up the fact that he's
I am now a man with a stick.
that he is.
Well, I mean I have my brain, but
Yeah, and you only throw that at an enemy once. So you kneel down, sitting on sitting on your knees, and she puts her hands together in the sign of Ralis Norea. So she puts her hands into a circle, putting her fingers down in the middle, trying to do the best you can to make that kind of like half circle that meets together in the middle as good as two hands can do. She begins to pray. You don't have to say the words out loud. Not always does a prayer have to be done out loud. She mutters some words to herself, and no one else sees any effect. The water still is torrenting around. You're trying to pick up a scent. You're looking at strange flowers growing in the moss, deciding if you can eat them or not. It's remarkable that in your life you haven't poisoned yourself and died. You come close though. Jard, his nose is running down his face.
No.
I'm probably working on
No.
something right now, even if we're not resting. I'm working.
Ayan is sitting up on a box, flipping through his spellbook, trying to like speed read. He knows it's not doesn't work like that.
No, I know.
But doing his best. And when you lift your head up, no one is standing close enough to see that the gods have granted you the power of sight, to the sight of things that are toxic and poisonous and have been tainted. What happens is your eyes are washed black and a green kind of like haze film like caresses across them
Okay.
just for a moment, and then your eyes return to normal. What happens is that you begin to see miasma lines, like weird green tendrils flowing through the water. And they swirl about, and at first the effect is everywhere, and so it's so bright that you actually have to close your eyes and you kind of reel back.
Yeah.
And then as it begins to collect, you begin to see the actual direction. Ralis Norea be praised, for they have shown you the way. So even though this direction, which is people watching won't make any sense me pointing like this, looks to be the way deeper, the actual strongest tendrils, we'll say, of like poisonous toxicity are coming from that direction.
Okay.
In fact, like it looks like almost octopus-like tentacles like weaving through the water as they collect and they kind of like swirl. You're simply being shown a visage, you know. So this is how the gods are choosing to show the poison to you, and then it begins to fade.
As a
And every time you
thank
blink,
the gods,
it
yeah.
brightens again.
Like,
as that, and you like that.
Disorienting.
And your eyes feel super dry.
What's the duration of detect poison?
Oh gosh, I'd have to look at a book again.
I'll look it up real quick. I'm
There you
pretty sure
go.
it's minutes at the very
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, no, it's one of
And the
those.
other strange side effect of the spell is you can almost like taste poison. Now, what is the poison?
Okay, I was gonna say,
It's
what did
sewage bacteria, so basically it tastes like you're licking a toilet in the back of your throat.
Curious how you know that reference.
Spells come with,
Oh, never mind.
it was a challenge.
Is it longer? It's like an hour level, is it?
Detect poison, you just cast it, and it'll tell you, you determine whether a creature, object, or area has poison
Yep.
or is poisoned. So actually it's just like a,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why it starts to fade until you close your eyes
If
and
you
blink
make
your
it-
eyes.
Yeah.
DC 20 wisdom check, you can determine the exact type of poison.
Roll it.
Character with alchemy can instead use alchemy.
Nope. It's icky. Because I can see from here,
I mean, it
that's
is
a low
9.
number.
It is a 9.
Yeah, that's only 11 away from 20.
One
I know, right?
foot of snow or 1 inch of
No,
metal.
that's fine.
Or 3 feet of dirt.
So,
So yeah, we need to go that way.
To the right.
no one saw any effect. Those of you who may have not been around spellcasters, it depends how much you try, but she just kind of goes, we need to go that way.
But I know where like the nearest like secure room is, like one more of those control rooms or something.
They should be evenly spaced
Yeah, like
out
I
throughout the
know.
entire way.
Like a valve room or whatever they are. So you find one of those there for the rest of
The closest one would be the way back.
The magical
Right,
pop soon
but I'm
will
sure
start
if
to
there's no
feel
one
that.
on the way we're going, I might just go.
Make a intelligence check.
I have a
14? 13.
Oh,
Okay. You think about it, and you think there should be one up close because
One this way.
there should be one for each main waterway in case of emergency to close them off.
We should run across one eventually.
It doesn't
So she says to go that
anybody
way.
that's within the area.
Are you trying to explain divine magic to them?
Well, I say we go that way.
Well, I was trying
There
to
should be
comfort
a-
him, and I told him the magic might wear off in a little bit.
Alright.
'Cause
Oh, so is this her fault?
And now I'm pissed.
There should be a control room up that way, so if we keep going.
Aiden
mean-
says for the third time. He
You know
points
what?
to the direction.
If no one wants to come with me.
I'm
gonna-
coming.
I stand up.
I'm gonna head this direction.
Which way?
I was assuming.
Okay.
The way I pointed, or
I
the
begin
other
going
way?
that way.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab my torch and head that direction.
We go that way.
Pick up your torch. Bits of torch that fall off as the animal fats and the wrappings fall and hit the ground.
And you,
It casts light on the wall, and you see something that looks like a crawdad.
hold on.
That's almost see-through. Go across the wall. It's not about this big.
I gotta turn around and go pick up my stuff because in my moment of delirium, I ended up dropping my gear.
It's an
Okay.
hour of delirium, so I don't know how long after the fight we are now.
It's
Well, I
like
feel
been
shitty
rough.
about throwing them in, but now I'm mad because it's not my fault. I feel like that.
Oh great, it's gonna turn him evil because we're doing this.
Jard rolls back over and grabs his gear and starts picking it all up, all angry and just kind of pissed off. Mock, what a bunch of children you have collected under you. Take through here.
Yeah.
Is anyone else hurt?
You know, the real simple solution.
I've got 1 point on.
Yeah.
Not
Not enough for it to matter.
Yeah.
If the priest being around us makes it so we can't kill innocent, helpless things, then let's just do this.
Kill the priest?
Never mind.
Whoa.
What?
Trevor.
Your joke goes over if it was a joke like a lead balloon and the party gets quiet.
Whoa. Oh, I would
Okay.
never advocate such a thing. That's cruel. And
He
then
quickly
cruel.
walks back as I'm standing.
Let's just keep moving.
I mean,
You begin to move down that side passageway. This map is no longer in effect. So
you're
you begin. Who's taking point?
I'm gonna take.
Got me.
I'm
Make
not
spot
talking
check.
to you right now. Thank you, but I'm not talking to you right
I
now.
will,
That's fair. I'll give you that one.
oh, that's a 1.
Oh! You begin to make your way down the passageway. The roaring torrent of water becomes quieter and quieter
I
in the
was in the
distance.
corner behind
Okay.
you with the torch. So.
I've got.
And
I'll take the middle of the short one.
all right,
I'm somewhere in the middle, bro.
lemons. We'll say lemons in the back.
Okay.
Okay. Unless anyone has any. So now we understand that the party. This passageway is narrow, and you're getting into the older tunnel sewer system. You can tell because the block cut is more rough, and it was made in more hurried design. There are actually pieces of wood down here making some part of the support structure. Big, huge 8x8 oak beams stick up, and then flagstone and block that make up the rest of it. So you're like traveling back in time to construction as well as to Old Thur. And as the torrent gets quieter and quieter behind you, the sounds of this ecosystem become louder and louder. buzzing the bugs. They start to collect around you, and you just have to start swatting them away as they buzz into your face and towards an open eye or like by your ear.
If
Little
I kill
biting
one of these,
bugs.
will I feel that?
Well, they're
If I
attacking.
bat away some bugs.
He bats away some bugs and he's bitching at you. Well, while he does, you fail a spot check and you hear tink zip. And you look down and you see a string go whoom into the wall.
Duck?
You duck. From the ceiling, as you set off the trap. The trap was obviously, you're going to learn in a moment, not built by human hands, by something a little more on the dumb side. So it took a second for it to go off, which means it's the guy behind you that catches the trap in the face.
Oh no!
As you roll a 1. A box swings from attached to a wooden beam from the roof and smashes you in the face. And scorpions go.
I am so sorry. So I
Make a reflex save.
I get a reflex save. I am so sorry.
You ducked. That was the correct choice, apparently.
16.
Okay, so Garwin's a big man, but he's quick on his feet. And you see this, you hear the zip, and you look up for some reason. You don't know why, you just do. And you see that beam, and you see the rope that someone dug through the wooden beam, because they can't get the flagstone, and they traced a line up, and it came out. Pretty ingenious, right? For obviously, this is a newer trap. Something would have set this off. This crate swings down and hits you. And as it's coming down, it's open, you see like a pile of scorpions laying in this crate. Half of them are not moving, but you get smashed in the face. Your quick reflex save means you kind of move away and kind of like bash the box against the wall, and scorpions just go everywhere. Just small black scorpions. They begin to bite and pinch you and stab at you as they hit you in the face. This is a radius attack, so you're going to take the most of it, but because you made a reflex save, you're going to take half.
Oh man, I feel so bad. Out
I
of
mean,
character.
it's obviously a kobold trap. Kobolds put scorpions on everything.
And these are native to this area. They're just small black scorpions. They're not like big, giant, just...
It's the small ones that are scary.
This is a classic kobold weapon. It's a stick with a scorpion on it. That's the weapon.
Fortitude save, fortitude save, fortitude save.
Wait, you pointing at me?
No.
Oh,
thank
shit.
I need to make another fortitude save?
That was a reflex, and I didn't make a
that was
fortitude.
a fortitude. 10.
10.
Sweet. Fortitude is all of 12.
Okay.
11.
11. Okay. So the only one actually failed is you, because I gave you a bonus for passing your reflex save. So you guys get bit. You're the only one that gets stung.
Okay. Ah, damage. That's not good.
You would have taken 6
These scorpions.
Okay, so
from multiple, but you take 3. You take 3 points of damage from about 5 scorpions as they hit you about the neck, the chest, the face, and they're biting you. But you're somehow able to magic, like just because you're just how fast you're starting. It's like being attacked by bees. No stinger actually lands on you. You take 1 point of damage. We'll call it splash damage. The scorpion lands on you, and you feel it like pinch your neck, and you're like, and you smash it against the wall.
Yo.
You're like ducking, and when you start to realize what's going on, you feel something go pink in your back. You temporarily lose 1 point of strength. And take 2 points of damage.
Strength.
You have flu-like symptoms.
Strong.
1 point?
1 point. Just
We
temp
could've
1
used
point.
these boxes here.
It's actually, he can't reach it. Because it is his broad build. He can't reach the scorpion stuck in his back.
So you have to grab it and take it out.
Someone help, please. You pull it out. You immediately you start to feel kind of nauseous, and your back, right where it stabbed you through, somehow got through.
My hide.
Yeah, in your fur. And it's probably lucky for you that you are a bugbear with a thick fur hide, because who knows if an actual person would have been hit by that. It burns.
So this
It starts to
regular
swell.
scorpions, just common scorpions.
Just common scorpions to the third area. What kobolds and goblins could collect.
What they could find in the sewers.
Now the party knows this place is trapped. You watch scorpions scurrying across the ground, moving away as the ones in the box. There are a whole bunch of dead ones in there too.
Right.
It looks like they just kept pouring scorpions
can
in
I
it.
grab a couple of them?
Yeah, sure. You're able to collect 3. I'm guessing dead ones, right?
Yeah, I just want the poison out of it.
Ah!
So if I get back, I might be able to
Okay. You collect 3 of them.
Does anybody have a bunch of pencils or pencil?
Alright,
Sorry for all the crashing.
You kind of your fingertips feel tingly, and your like the tips of your toes,
Are we good?
extremities.
You guys okay?
Well, yeah, no, then, no, I'm too
I'm
thirsty.
good.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Can you use my little 0 level
Yeah,
heal
I'm
for
good.
Monk? Because he actually got stung.
Can I
I know I can't cure the poison, but I can at
Can I
least.
take point? I have a little bit of experience finding
I don't
stuff
want
like
to
this.
explode
By all
anybody.
means, yeah. I love not fun in traps.
Meanwhile, we were
Can
discussing.
actually find traps.
While you're discussing party line formation changes, Lemon like, because it's a narrow hallway, she like weaves through the party and walks up and goes.
You just get 1 point back.
There's actually like a sound, and it kind of goes like. There's like this weird like whooshing
That's what I
sound.
think I need.
Whatever's gonna
He did.
I mean, I can use a cure light on you.
I'm down to 2 points.
Oh, you're down.
Oh.
Realize how hurt Garwin
he's like, I
is?
bruised my thumb. Cure medium. I'm almost dead. You're fine.
No, I do. I'm actually going to use my regular cure light, which is my D8 plus 2.
At the beginning of
5.
the game, I thought you said you're only down 1. That's what I thought you said. There.
That's what I thought he said too.
I only got hit with 1
Okay, so-
last time. I have 3 this I only have 6.
I got you.
Oh, okay.
Lemon, you walk up and you use your Osiris, you use your like just really low level divine magic to give him healing, and then you look at Garwin,
I'm a
and like his
bard.
face is like swollen, and his nose is bleeding. And he's like, I'm okay.
You're not okay. I start like.
Wow, Soraya, please grant him strength. She puts her hands up and like. Healing in Paro is locational, really. So you kind of have to like put your hands up under his neck and like,
Yeah.
and he's like way up here, and
So
it's soothing. She
Garwin,
heals
can you duck a little? I mean,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
literally like a foot and a half taller.
I can
Listen
heal.
checks.
Oh no.
Ooh, that's good.
Wow.
That's don't fail me now.
16, son.
Okay.
Oh,
I got 15.
15.
I just needed
20.
someone to pass. Okay, good. Garwin hears it first unless anyone gets over 20.
13.
But it doesn't matter. I just
I
needed
got
one
20.
person to pass. Okay. You hear
I need you.
from down the passageway you're going, and then the skittering of small feet
Again.
We got more. Got more.
going away from you.
Running from us.
Probably watching to see if it's trapped.
We still don't got. Too many things to do.
I'm gonna try to shimmy my way to the front, just so that if we do run into any traps, I can.
You shimmy
notice them.
past. A piece of dripping fat from a torch lands on your shoulder as you move
I'm
past.
pretty sure since she moved up,
Okay.
I'm taking
Yeah.
back.
The whole party kind of
points.
clusterfucks for a moment.
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep
Sort
watching
back out.
behind
I'll,
us.
if we
So-
get into
So what's our
another
party
fight-
formation?
I'll take point.
Put your party formation on the board. It doesn't matter where because the map doesn't count, but like what you guys actually are in, so I know for encounters.
I got rear, guys. I'll take up rear with my shield. I'm gonna take half defensive.
Okay,
side.
well, why don't you hop in behind me?
If you're taking half defensive, the party's going to move a little slower.
You and I can.
It gives, oh, that's right.
That's
Well, it gives still give me 6 squares.
Oh,
but
it's
yeah,
not.
they'll move.
Well, you can move
Or-
normal move rate if you're going half.
Are you saying
Actually,
you're,
no.
you
I'm
mean,
gonna take
let,
half defensive. I mean, I'll have a 23 AC.
We're gonna let Jar take the lead.
I guess I was asking, are you moving cautiously or are you just kind of like, I was misinterpreting what you're saying. So
No, just
That's us. We've got
I hope
Jar,
we don't get
Mock,
flanked, 'cause we will be.
Lemon,
Actually,
Garwin.
I was
I'm all the way
thinking.
in the back.
Oh, wait, this.
Yeah, move.
This
Garwin
is.
behind Jar.
Who is this?
That's Beatrice.
This is. You're here.
a moment while we figure out this party formation.
Say it one more time.
It's Jar in front.
Jar.
Garwin behind you.
Yep. And Garwin's behind Jard. And then I'm behind Garwin. And then Aen's behind me. You're behind Aen. And then Mock is in the very back. There we go.
Mock's like, no more boxes of scorpions for me, I'm going in the back.
Yep.
I'm not gonna.
I got a shield. I'll just walk you guys in the back.
I'm not gonna be ducking any more traps and letting you take the face in the face anymore.
Well, you paid for his fumble.
Yes.
Did he really though?
Did he really?
You almost killed me.
I
Oh.
only have one
That would've
spell
been-
left.
that would've been-
So
have-
I have one first level spell left. If we get
Well, I
into
think it's
another
a,
fight,
I
it's
think
gonna
it's
be
an
rough.
agreement amongst the party that when you find somewhere to rest, you're gonna have to.
I have Amadeus and Silent Portal.
As much as you don't want to rest down here. So now that you have a new formation, the party begins to move back down the passageway.
Okay,
Mhm.
I'm gonna roll a search just to keep
Okay.
an eye on for traps.
Are
Okay.
we trying to get all the moisture out of my clockwork leg?
So, trap finding is a DC 20
Words, Neil, use them.
Using them. They can use the search skill to locate traps, and the task has a difficulty class higher than 20. Non-magical traps has a DC of at least 20. Magical ones are higher than that. I rolled 20. Total.
Okay.
18 plus 2. I find trap.
Okay. The party's making their way down the passageway.
It was very simple.
The bits of block, this is in such disrepair that the bits of the wall have actually like crumbled away and the wood has begun to rot. And in fact, at one point, Mock, as you put your hand up on the wall, just to kind of like help you through, your fingers go into the wood. Like it's pudding. Like that's how rotten this part of the area has become.
This place isn't stable.
None of us are.
Up ahead,
Speak for yourself.
up ahead on the right, on the stone wall, Mr. I rolled a 20. You don't find any trap. What you do see is something scrawled on the stone wall in, is that fecal matter?
Yes.
I didn't know that was a language, but okay.
Like
Someone has taken something that smells foul and is a grayish brown color and scrawled on the wall, Rakanishu be praised. But it's Rakanishu, and then it says B-E-E, and the B is like sideways, and the praised is P-R-A-Z-Z-E-D. So either that or it's Rakanishu Beprazd.
It draws off.
So someone who couldn't spell,
It's worshipping something that smells like
someone has a very base understanding of the common language,
Here's the plan.
try to write some graffiti.
Sewer goblins, kobolds.
It's almost certainly kobolds worship rockfish.
A few steps ahead, you can see the wall deviates, but the torchlight isn't far enough for you to see what's going on.
Well, we continue further, I imagine.
Oh, this is a trap.
You come upon a door. That's why the wall looks like it sets in. I mean, you're looking through like torchlight from behind you. The torchlight flickers a little bit. Your torch is starting to die. Just so you're aware. You have to like, you let it down and like some of the wrapping comes down and you wrap it back around the torch and pick it back up. And it's trying to like start to drip down the actual handle of the torch. So this torch is on its last leg.
I am switching out torches.
Takes another torch out, use it to light that one. Woof! There's a conflagration behind you, the light gets brighter. This door in front of you is a portcullis door. It's an iron portcullis door that's long since rusted. The lock is pockmarked and just rusted and corroded away, but still locked in it. And you can see inside the room like some mounds of things. It's a small room. It looks like some of those pressure valve release rooms that's maybe been decommissioned or not used in so long. Because this is the old sewer. This probably was just ignored and bypassed. But without going in, you can't get much more information about it. You're looking through torchlight coming from
I asked him, any ideas about this? What this room is?
Definitely. I mean, this is what I was looking for.
This is where we're looking.
I'm gonna cast Silent Portal though, so when I open it, the portal doesn't make any noise.
Here, try it.
You're talking to the wizard, and he's responding to you, but not really paying attention to you, because he's Aiden. But he walks up and he makes this like hand gesture, and you watch this little magical glick go over the lock on the door.
Is it actually locked?
Cool.
You want to test it?
Well,
Hang on. Before we start cracking this thing open,
I mean, it looks like there's a padlock on it. It looks like it's locked.
Okay, because I'm at the very back. I'm asking.
I would like to
Mock's like,
investigate
does
this.
it look like it's locked?
It looks like it is. Give me a second. I'm gonna check and see if it's a trap. So. No, it's fine.
No, it's not
Good,
trapped.
cool.
well, I mean, just looking at some portcullis, right?
This
I
might.
begin
Is there-
to
I mean,
try to use my
hey,
dagger to open it.
You know what? I'll step back and I'll leave. Goodbye.
Aiden's like, no, do this. You're all in the back, unfortunately.
I'll drop
Jar
the
goes,
scroll, whatever.
and luckily for you, it's not trapped.
I rolled a 1.
That's still not trapped.
Thankfully.
You put your dagger into the lock, and the lock is so degraded and rusted that you're pretty sure that he could have just grabbed it and went and broke it off.
Man,
And as you
Jar
twist
got it.
sideways, the lock just snaps, and the old broken padlock falls to the ground.
Got it. I opened the door.
And it makes no noise. There's that glyph reappears, and there's this.
Well, I dropped it because he was
Oh, okay. So the glyph reappears and is expelled, and the door goes.
Cool.
I resheath my dagger in my boot. And then bring up my short bow to a ready position and enter the room.
Go for it.
The room is about the size of this one, so you'd say what, maybe like 20 by 15. This room has been locked for a long time. There's refuse in the corners. It looks like at one point there was like some crates, and they've like collapsed into themselves, creating kind of like a pile of old rotten wood. And on the other side, there's valve systems that have been long since used, and they're covered in rust and moss, and just like vegetation is taken over from this old just being here. A large rat runs across the floor, stops in the middle of the room, looks at the party, and then keeps going, and disappears into a hole in the wooden oak wall, like one of the pillars.
Can we
There's
take
there's
20?
rat droppies everywhere. It's just an old, disgusting, moist room. Water
Can we-
moist.
Can we? Moist doesn't seem to bother any of us.
It'll bother some people.
It will. So dumb. Anyways, can we take 20 to search the room and see if we find any?
Only if
like-
everyone agrees to take 20 to search the room.
I mean, I'd agree
I'm
because
down.
we could
Okay.
probably use this room to rest in.
Because if you take 20 to search, someone else rolls a search.
Well, we should have one person watching.
I'm
Yeah.
on the door.
Okay.
Okay. And then, yeah, no, I'm down to taking 20.
Mm-hmm.
I got you guys.
Begin to search the room. The boxes, who knows what they were full of. Now it seems like there's some canvas bags and something that smells, that would have smelled bad long ago, but is now just like decayed past the point of smelling bad. So you don't know what's in those boxes. It's useless. If you're looking for like the Holy Defender or like the Crown of Kings, you're not going to find it. The gauges are all leaking and broken, and like the glass covers, because that's how rich Thur was and is now. They had like glass covered valve systems. Have like cracks, and they don't read anything, and the water in them is residual. This room is not useful anymore, other than it'd be a good place to barricade yourself in to possibly rest, which is, I think, what the wizard was going for in the first place.
Well, we're not doing that. We have to come up with a different plan. So,
In the
I think
corner,
that's an excellent plan.
Resting.
there seems to be a large
Even though it smells awful in
behind the portcullis, or behind the actual valves, like the pipes that come out of the floor, go to the valves, and then go into the wall. There's like a 3-foot wide gap behind there, and there's a huge burlap blanket, like rolled up and tied with old rope.
it's probably a body.
Can I squeeze back there and open it?
here. Yeah.
He's like, it's probably a body, because you go back there and you grab the rope,
Yeah, I'm gonna check it.
and the
Oh,
rope just like deteriorates in your hand.
I'd be gentle with it.
Why don't we go ahead and pull that out?
No, know that. How big is it?
Bigger than you.
How heavy?
5.5 feet,
How heavy is it?
6 feet. Well, in order to know how heavy something is, you have to try to move it.
Okay, I'll try and pull it out from behind the little gap.
Okay.
I have a 9 strength.
Little Lemon runs around there and she grabs it. Anne's watching. So you have to imagine that Lemon, the smallest of the group, runs around behind.
I'm gonna
I
go
think I'm
over
the only
there
one that can
and,
fit back in.
help her.
The problem is you can't fit back there to get it.
Can I
Try to
Oh.
help.
Okay, why don't we
No,
tie,
just
tie,
so-
tie one of our ropes to it, and then we
If
can
I
drag
can't
it
move
up?
it,
Why don't we not
What's
make
your
this
AC?
difficult?
Right.
what's my AC?
I didn't stutter.
17.
So you're pulling on the ropes, right? The blanket shreds into pieces as the body sits up and the skeletal hand reaches for it and grabs you by the neck,
God, I was
right?
right.
And slams you against the wall. The skeletal head turns and looks at the party, and its mouth goes to open like it wants to speak, but it's a skeleton, so it can't, so the jaw just falls off and hits the ground, right? And it begins to pull itself up by the bars.
And
Attack roll.
scramble.
Well, I'm right in front of it, right?
Take 3 points of
Right there
damage.
by Lemon, aren't
Okay.
Yeah, I'm right there.
That's good enough.
I'm at
I fumbled.
Okay. So, all at the same time, she is slammed against the wall, so it's your head that takes the damage. The skeleton
Okay.
wham, hits you against the wall, right? And goes to try to stand up, pulling itself through the pipes. It's rot and decayed body of someone who maybe, they're wearing like maybe someone was killed and hidden back here? You don't know. It's like the flesh ripping off its body, the old rotten flesh that was preserved by being wrapped in the blanket. A mace is thrown at it, misses, hits one of the pressure gauges, which explodes, spraying water into the air. At the same time, you fumble and go to strike it, right? And you hit the pipe instead. which sends you off to the side because it's a rounded pipe. Sends you off to the side, and you lose your stick behind the pipes. Which you'll be able to
run!
Initiative.
All right.
Action.
I turn it into the staff and spear the staff and spear away.
Is that a 1? Good job.
That's a 4 altogether.
So,
16. 22.
It's been a long pummels already.
So at the end of this, I'll be armed with a staff instead of a spear.
does that make sense to you, Bryce, where your staff is? You'll be able to get to it if you get like on your hands and knees and crawl into the
After
pipes.
combat, I'm not worried already.
I don't know.
You had Bryce.
Attack is -1 for D6 -1.
Am I
Alright.
awake?
Oh yeah, you're awake, but
Okay.
you're
I'm
sitting
like,
against the walls. Because the room goes like this, right?
Uh-huh.
It's a square. The pipes are here.
Really?
It's coming through the pipes this way, trying to like crawl out of them,
And it threw me this way?
and it threw you against the wall this way. So you're back in the corner,
Okay.
and your head. Because you just imagine someone takes you, just concrete wall, and just hits you against it.
Yeah.
You notice as the
I'm
skeletal
bringing-
frame's pulling itself out, like it has no legs. Like the legs stayed in the wrappings.
Lieutenant Dan!
Maybe the murderous death, or like the horrible death of this person caused their like corpse to be reanimated out of spite, going after some living things. You don't know. All you know is like everyone just like ah! And he's already lost his staff and starts to run back. He threw a mace. Highest initiative, go.
By the gods.
What's Lieutenant Dan's initiative?
It's a 2.
2? Excellent. I got a 22 total, so I think I'm going first. Unless
No,
somebody beats
actually,
that.
Garwin's going first. What did?
Garwin's always better.
Garwin will run forward and smash it with his staff.
Okay.
I mean, it's already dead now, so what do I gotta do?
So I got a 8.
All right. You begin swinging at it, but it's pulling itself through this like rib cage skeletal frame of pipes. So you're mostly hitting pipes. He misses AC by 2. And it's dark because you had a torch. Now you're swinging a staff. Where'd the torch go? Are you using the staff one-handed and holding the torch? Did you drop the torch?
True. Actually, I was hoping, I guess. Unless there
I'll
was
be kind.
If there was a torch holder near, I would have shoved it in the torch
You took the torch and you set it on top of the boxes, which
Right.
gives a dim area effect of light, but it's why you're like swinging in the darkness at an old rotting corpse.
Right.
Who's next?
So if you want me to do damage to the mallet, we're in trouble. Because I won't
It's still
damage
trying
it.
to pull itself clear.
Yeah, it's half rotted skeletal frame is pulling itself through the pipes, so it's about neck and upper chest out of them. But these old pipes, it's slippery, so it's trying to pull itself out.
I don't know if I want to try to fight it while it's in the pipes, or wait till it's actually clear enough that I can get a clean shot at it. Either way, I'm going to pull out my rapier.
Best weapon for
Best skeleton fighting.
Actually, the worst. Doesn't get any worse than that.
I could shoot it with my bow.
That's as bad.
All right, so you pull your rapier.
So I pull my rapier, and I think I'm going to hold my action until...
Okay, who's next?
Mom.
I'll run up to it and smash its fucking head in.
You threw one mace. You have one mace left.
I have my mace and my shield on.
Okay.
I threw my mace and I pulled my mace.
Mock just comes forward.
13 is it? 4,
It's probably dead.
9.
Okay. So it gets to the point where it pulls itself out of the pipes, and it like slides out and like slaps to the floor. Mock runs over, takes his shield, pushes it up off the ground because it kind of like pushes itself up like this. Pushes it up off the ground, takes his mace, and actually you push your mace through it, and so it's kind of like shoving into the wall. Well, when you shove it in the wall, you collapse its rib cage, which severs the spinal cord right here, and kind of like it just kind of falls apart. You do enough damage to like break, and it just
I'm going to take my turn now and strike it.
roll. Hope you don't fumble and hit Jay.
All of 7. So, you know.
From over your left shoulder, he just kind of got
What the fuck?
So the skeletal remains just
15
crumble
more.
to dust as you smash. You use the wall and the head of your mace to just kind of like smash against the wall. Meanwhile, you stand up.
I told you there'd be a body in it.
Put my shield away, grab my other mace.
Can I grab his
I'm
staff
fine.
and hand it to him?
Good.
Yeah. He reaches in and grabs the...
You drop this.
Yes.
Mm.
Well, actually, I threw it at the skeleton to keep it off.
Alright.
Alright, well,
Are you okay,
we're
Lemon?
resting here.
Good.
Can we double
She has
check
a
the
knot
room to
on
make
the side of
sure
her
there's
head.
not any more?
You're obviously not
Uh,
taking much watch.
Is there anything in that skeleton's wrap thing, or is it just
Ah.
commoner?
You grab it and start to pull it. The whole bag,
I'll
like,
use my staff to move it around and
okay.
work through.
You dig,
Yeah.
and it's like digging in a meat pie.
Yeah.
Because there's like
All the flesh. Is
all the
like
flesh, and
compartmented.
it actually stayed better than it should have down here, being wrapped in all these blankets. Someone tried to hide this body, well, obviously not well, but someone tried to like really, and so it's wrapped up like 7 times. So how long was this thing in here not being able to get out?
Would
So I'm gonna have to
a,
make
would
an angry
a
skeleton.
kobold or
They wouldn't
They
bother
wouldn't do that,
They wouldn't
right?
hide it. This is
No.
probably criminal something. This is probably.
This could be
someone-
just like a byproduct that has
can I
nothing to do
look
with
and
you
see
guys.
if there's any like
I'm pretty sure you
I don't
have
know
someone
family
inside of your
crest or like something like they're wearing
Identifying.
identified
Maybe, but
markers
these-
on
Well,
them.
The sewer
See
system's
if-
used by everyone in the city.
He started searching first.
Okay.
You are able to pull it. Once you open the bag, the smell is. I use the word bag. The wraps. The smell is
I'm not gonna read them.
atrocious. Yeah, you're
Like,
used
this
to
is
atrocious
not okay.
smells, but this is rotting body, which is
Mixed
different
with
than.
fecal matter and mixed.
And you watch as the caterpillars and millipedes start to pour out of the bag,
That's worse than
and the
soup
beetles
that-
start crawling out. And
I
and
know.
like you're digging in it, and you do see it. Whoever did this person wasn't robbed, because there's coins in here. Are you willing to dig through the gelatinous mold that was a body to get the coins? Is the question.
Okay, before you butt in, I'm examining.
I
Walk back,
take it
Jordan.
back. Take it
Jesus
back.
Christ.
You know,
I mean, if it's not too difficult, if they're not like, if it's impossible and it's a small amount of money, but if there's like gold in there, sure.
I'm gonna reach into my little pouch and grab some seed and put it in my back there.
And if someone wants to help me without taking over everything.
So I'm gonna use my bushy
I
mustache,
will
the
assist
filter.
you.
I'm
I
gonna
will
gather the
assist you.
bones and perform last rites.
Garwin, do you reclaim your torch?
Yes, I did reclaim my torch.
Garwin reclaims the torch. Do you reclaim your mace?
Yes.
Reclaim your mace.
Is there any way
She is
we
pulling the
can-
bones out of the actual body, what's left of it.
You have to force those all around the room, but
Mhm.
the actual legs are like sticking.
Question kind of for the world.
Now
I
remember,
guess.
this room is being sprayed full of water because you broke the pipe.
I have engineering. Can I like patch it up?
Roll, sir.
Would it be normal
15?
for me to like
I can
keep
assist
the
him.
bones,
Okay.
keep the
Roll
bones
assist.
to take them back up with me to properly take care of them?
You
Because I
don't
can't-
have to.
Okay.
So,
Roll out, when you
would that
assist,
be?
just
We'll get to you in a second. Would that be the best option?
me.
Yes. Would you be judged for not wanting to carry rotten bones in your bag? No, because you could give them a burial rights here.
That and like engineering skills.
Okay.
assist.
So-
It would give them a chance to free their spirit anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
technically you can even like bury them by sea or water.
Better than
Okay.
It's to dispose of them, and it's more about the prayer than it is about where they go.
Gotcha.
Because
okay.
the bones of the body and the body is just a
I'm
vessel,
thinking this all has to do with engineering.
but they're the closest thing attached to
I'm
the
just
soul.
trying to stop it.
So you could go outside the room, offer them a prayer, and then chuck them in the water,
Okay.
because it's not a full body.
Right.
I got a
It's just the way the religion works.
That makes
Is
sense.
that what you're gonna do?
Yeah.
I do this good thing.
You guys are doing the engineering, you're doing that, and then we'll get to that. So here we go. She begins to move all the bones outside the room and like stack them up in a specific way, where she's putting all the bones in a way that like kind of makes like a triangle out of them, like, and then she puts the skull on top. And then she kneels down. This is all happening at the same time as you guys are doing your thing. She kneels down in front of them as the water passes by and the darkness of the sewers, and putting her hands upon the skull, she leans her head down and begins to offer a prayer to pass the soul onto the ether, into what's one of the more benign, welcoming parts of our scenario, where she offers the soul to whatever god they wish. And as she does that, you put your hands on them. There's no sign to know that it's done. You just know that you've done it, and then you begin to cast the bones. You know, the soul has now left this body, and the body's of no use, and you cast the bones into the water. Meanwhile, inside, you guys, the water's spraying everywhere, and you start to like maneuver valves, and he comes over and kind of looking over your shoulder, and this is when you begin to learn that both of you have some engineering experience. He knows these waterways, you guessed that, but this is when you get to learn that Garwin also knows too, and he goes, He's just making comments like, hey, what if we turn the pressure down on this?
He's actually slightly better engineer than I am.
Yeah. So then, party knowing each other, you start to realize you both have a technological know-how. So both you put together are able to shut the water off to that valve and stop the spraying of this room. So if this room is going to be a resting point, it's going to be better now.
And it's not a bunch of noise from water.
Right.
Real quick question. The water coming out of these pipes, was it clean water or was it sewage?
So the first initial spray is of a disgusting stale brown water, like in irrigation pipes when it gets trapped at the end. Now the water is actually being fed from whatever cleaner water system. Third is built on top of there's a river next to it. It's also a multitudinous amount of underground rivers. And who knows how many other waterways leaked into it. So the initial spray was disgusting.
It's a stagnant water.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's clear and clean enough, we could purify it. I'm pretty sure he might have a way to
But
do
you're
that.
searching things right now,
It's
so
not
you're really
wrong.
thinking about
As
that?
long as we have a priest, we don't need that.
I don't have that memorized.
So in coin, to backpedal, because you had found some money, in coin you found 5 gold pieces. But they're old stamp.
Probably was more.
Old state.
So they're from in the last like 5 generations of Garlandian thrones, they changed the coin every king or queen. They just mint a new one, showing that one. And so this is from the last king. So his body's been here like 15 years.
So it's not worth a bunch of money. It just tells
No.
you how it just dates the
I'm just
body.
dating the body for
Okay,
you.
I understand.
There's also 32 copper, and there is a small ivory statue of a hippopotamus.
Can I have
Of
that?
who?
Of a hippopotamus.
Can I have the hippopotamus? I don't care what money. I want the hippopotamus.
Yeah.
Coming out of your cut though.
Fair enough. That's a hippopotamus. That's a pretty cool hippopotamus.
You hold the little statue, start to
I
clean
mean,
like.
hippopotamus is a creature of the
It's
water.
a rough statue, but it's still a tiny little. It's probably worth quite a bit. It's hard to get things like this made.
How much
Someone
would
to make this.
it be worth? I don't want to.
Do you have appraisal?
I don't. I was going to ask someone.
Let me know
what this is worth. I don't want to. I mean, I want it, but I don't want. I'll pay for it if I have to.
He really wants this hippopotamus.
It's cool. When are you going to find an ivory hippopotamus just lying around?
I rolled a 9, so it's approximately.
Hippos are the elephants of the water.
Exactly. And they kill people. Hippos are brutal as fuck.
They're having the strangest sibling conversation where she's like, "They're the elephants of water." And he's like, "And they kill people."
Is this where you sound really dumb and you're like, what's an elephant? Like, does Garland actually have elephants?
Garland?
So in the current age technology of Parle, with all the travel and the pre-steampunk age we're in, with knowledge is far greater than what it normally have been. Have you ever seen a hippopotamus? No. You probably know what one is? Yes. That's the age that you find yourselves in. Kind of like a weird pre-information age.
I've probably seen pictures drawn in books, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question before we get into more stuff. Who's the king of Garland right now? Is it Camus? Or is it one of his?
No, it's King Jeffery King Jeffery the Bold.
And he's Camus's son or grandson?
He's grandson.
Okay.
Okay, just curious.
So we're pushing, 60 plus years?
Since
Sammy.
Since Sammy and Natalie.
Sammy.
Okay.
Well, Natalie's still around.
Oh, I know,
Keep that.
she's
I'm gonna
a
keep
fucking dryad.
this hippo thing
Doesn't
forever.
age.
It's going to be in my wizard tower.
It's about this big.
Does it have any markings or anything? It's just...
No, and it looks like someone was moderately skilled.
Alright.
It's not smooth.
Maybe
it's like
their
rough
picture
cut.
wasn't accurate.
Oh, you can tell it's a hippo. You can tell.
I know, I was just saying, like.
In fact,
Maybe the
you
picture
can
they
tell
were
it's a male hippo. All right, so.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Anatomically correct.
Isn't everything these days?
It's a land manatee.
It's a land manatee. The only other thing that sets out upon it, you start doing the pipe work because you started searching,
Right.
which leads him to search. In the bottom of the bag, you got to get rid of this bag. When you pick the bag up, you toss it out of the room, it clanks.
Don't toss it in the water, though.
Oh, no.
So was that mine?
It made noises. Put my dagger out. I'm going to cut a small enough hole.
Remember, this is all happening concurrently, so you guys are still kind of finishing up the
Brains.
pipes.
Into the outside There's flowing water outside.
Whatever you're doing that, please don't throw it in the water.
I'm not.
Okay,
I
thank
mean,
you.
me and her. are
I'm
outside.
draining the meat soup out of it.
What? Can you not drain it into the water? We have to drink that water. I mean,
The
eventually.
sewage water?
Not exactly, but it's all.
I'm draining it into the sewage water.
Which way is this water flowing?
Back the way
All
it
this
came.
water's flowing into that drainage thing. It'd be pretty safe to do it here.
He's just
I mean-
making sure.
Realistically, you know he's gonna do it anyways. You probably wish he wouldn't do it, but he's gonna do
Still,
it.
I mean, by my job, we're not supposed to be
Yeah.
like, you know.
Putting meat soup
You
in
put up
there.
a fight for a minute, and then as you get sprayed in the water by the face by more water as you're working the pipes, you probably quit
Okay.
or lightning bolt him.
Oh!
That's a bad idea.
I feel like down the road someone's gonna punch you in this party.
Well,
I
it's
would
not
be
Ames. It won't
disappointed
be
if
a
they
punch.
did.
It'll be a fireball. But not a fire, but it'll be
It'd be a water
Or
blast.
Say something that'll piss Aiden off and I'll
All right,
just start and
you-
kick your ass.
Or that.
Reflex save.
Syrian kick?
Me?
3, 2, 1.
Sorry.
I rolled a 6 plus my reflex of 4. 10.
Ooh. So the thing you're looking for, you almost dumped into the water.
Oh
And
shit!
you watch him all of a sudden jump towards the water, lands on his knees,
I made a reflex just in case.
goes halfway in the water. What'd you get?
23.
He reaches out and grabs you by the back of the shirt, choking you slightly as you reach into the water and grab
The thing?
the thing that fell out of the bag. Because you just said I dump it in
What
there.
is this?
Well, I cut a little slit into the burrito to drain the fluid.
And the little slit was enough
I
for
think that
that
hole was too big
for-
there, sir.
for that scabbarded blade to fall through. You grab it. Ha!
I grab him another hand.
Well, it's a blade in a scabbard. You just pull him up.
Well, if he has it, I mean,
Yeah, no, okay, good. That's what I want to hear. So you just pull him up. Well, the way you were holding him was choking him. So you go, and he's like, this blade has not been touched by the hands of time. This leather-wrapped handle blade, where the handle's made of a nice antler, and the blade is a short, stubby, what we call like a gladius blade, edged on both sides, wider at the base, comes to a point, inside a simple antler-made scabbard, is in perfect condition. Even the leather is not tainted.
That's magic.
That looks new.
If there's rotted as
I'm gonna
everything
roll an
else is.
appraise on it,
Okay.
because, you know, why not? Oh man, it's club.
What?
you rolled a 1.
Can I take a look at that?
You look at me like,
So I got a total of 3.
yeah, so you just look at you like, well, it's not worth much.
I can appraise it because it can use some training. So I'm gonna roll for it because I like
Can
mine.
I-
If you get it from him.
Can I take a look at
it?
Can I
It's
look
trash anyways. I toss it over to whoever.
Catch it.
Okay, he was the one that came up
Okay.
first.
Sorry. I got a 11.
Okay, it's very nicely made. I mean,
So great.
It's a nicely made piece of shit.
It's pretty good. I would
agree.
say we
No,
should
we're
sell it.
Do I have time to take a look?
I mean, if it means something to you, keep it.
We could sell it
do you
for-
like actually look at it?
Yeah, we'll take it out actually.
You pull it out, you're like, ow.
What?
It feels like your hand. It feels like you're being stabbed in your hand. You go to open your hand, and the knife is still in your hand. You watch as the leather wrappings begin to dig into your flesh
Look at it.
Already got
and wrap into your hand.
First, awesome.
The leather wrappings roll through and dig into your flesh. Ah! Ah! And all of a sudden, your hand like kind of just folds into the wrappings as the blade protrudes out of the top. And it looks like someone just wrapped your hand in leather with a blade sticking out.
Looks like it hurts. You alright?
Dagger Hand.
You take 1 point of damage.
Ow.
And then trying to rip it off.
I didn't take that.
Ah! There's no handle anymore. Like the handle's gone.
There's
There's
no
just like a
hand.
blade and like leather wrappings.
How am I gonna use my weapons?
Still in the scabbard.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm trying to spin.
Shink. Ah! You have open holes. They kind of.
What the?
Oh.
That may be magical.
It's your shoes.
It's like that may be magical. Oh.
Looks magical to me.
Ah.
Perhaps we should put that in somebody's bag.
Those,
and-
they were like tentacles. They like
Well-
burrowed into your flesh to
well-
wrap it.
If we're gonna rest, I could memorize a spell to identify him.
What I could do
Morning,
is,
whenever we wake up.
I want to
just
hear if I
practice.
know a story about such a knife. So I'll go my biotic knowledge.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where it goes right now.
and I only rolled a 6, so.
No such story do you know of, sir.
Yes, but I'm gonna make one up.
I'll memorize identify.
Okay, Eric, Garwin, your stomach goes.
Since I probably have the most hit points in the party, I'm gonna keep a hold of it right now. If it decides to latch on me again. Because that fucking hurt.
It probably does it when you take the sheet.
Okay, you said
Your head
there were-
hurts.
There were boxes around here?
There are some old rotten boxes in the corner.
I really wish there was a quiet spot I could go.
If you really want to use this room to rest in, you're gonna want to push all this crap out of it.
Okay, how long would that take?
20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna start cleaning the room up.
Lots
Ah.
of us here.
That was so those wounds, Mock. They're like the damage is still there. You still take the point, but they're like already healing. And they're very thin paper-like cuts where the leather straps just like burrowed in, almost fused it to your hand. Like you could feel your hand being crushed into like this, where the blade came out. The party
Wow.
makes camp,
Nifty.
closing the portcullis gate.
Shit.
Luckily for you, you don't need to make a fire if you don't want, because it's so humid in here. You stay deliciously warm and sweaty.
Yeah,
Delicious
but
looking.
I'm gonna make a fire, because I'm gonna cook something up.
Survival check.
It's gonna be.
What?
Survival check. Because making a fire in here is going to be difficult with rotten wood.
17.
Okay. It would be difficult, but he can roll like a fiend. So Garwin's able to put together a fire and actually get a fire going, and the smoke rolls up, and he puts it next to the portcullis gate, so it rolls up into the. Hoping, obviously the sewers are large. You're probably not going to smoke out and kill everyone with
It's
smoke.
all over from here all the way out.
That would have to be a big fucking fire.
Do you want me to look at your hand and try and bandage it for you?
The wounds are gone. It still hurts, but it feels more like it hurts because of the bones.
Yeah. It feels like
And-
my hand just got crushed and then put back into place.
Okay.
And the party
You know
makes
what really
camp.
hurts. Is loss of strength.
You still feel like
Poison
it's like having a
coursing through my
flu.
body.
So I'll pull out my little cooking pot, my little rack. I set up there, throw some water in there. I throw some dry
I mean, it's
vegetables,
gotta be
some
better
dry
than the stuff I was
vegetables.
given.
It's a
Yeah.
strange, surreal experience to be in a sewer system with like
No,
mildew
you
and
didn't
mold.
put those mushrooms in there?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I haven't really fully examined the mushrooms in light of daylight, so no.
Oh, good.
I'm in.
It's a surreal experience to be like in the sewer system, surrounded by moss and mold and water, and have a crackling fire going at the same time. And he's sitting his big frame in front, so you got the portcullis gate. So nothing's gonna come in out this door without running straight through
Me.
through Garwin in the fire. And he's got a cooking pot on there, and there you sit in this dilapidated old ancient sewer while he cooks you food.
Blacksmith on Dark Souls.
I'm ready.
You begin to boil water out of the water tap that you have right there anyways. And you begin to throw things into it, cooking. If you would like to make a cooking check to provide sustenance for the party, make it at a -2 due to the conditions.
Oh, I only got a 7 minus 2 is 5.
Okay.
So
You do the best you can.
I'm gonna eat it anyways.
What you put together is a broth. It's like it goes downhill.
yes.
As you cook, things get worse and worse and worse. And it's not a failure. It's impressive that you're able to do anything at all in these circumstances. Now, how your party will see this, who knows?
Yeah.
But it is edible, and it most likely won't kill anyone.
Most likely.
Well,
Wooden
not
bowls
as
of
good as last
broth.
time,
Conditions.
but
But it is warm, and it is food.
And it's better than the soup I got in jail.
Look,
Did
I
you
don't
actually-
cook the food.
Never mind.
That was just
Jake.
to the game.
Mock, you feel your strength returning. You're feeling better as time is progressing. In fact, at one point, you think you may have nodded off because you snapped to.
So this went directly to the
Are we dead?
box room, and there's no other exit.
Mine now.
You could come out of this room and keep going the way you're going.
Oh, okay. So this is a side.
We just stopped here to rest. Cause we
Yeah,
were
this
all-
is just like a little
All right,
side
Bryce,
room.
you have obtained the identify spell.
Sick. I'm gonna cast detect magic just in case the hippo is mad.
Okay.
And I don't know if the dagger's action man. For all I know, it's like a fucking bleeding dagger or something.
You kneel down on the floor. You draw a glyph from the ground with your finger. You guys all watch this blue magic. His magical skills are pretty impressive. You guys haven't seen a lot of magic. He seems to be able to whip this stuff out. He draws this, as he draws the circle with his finger, a tracing line, and it's not just a line. It's like a heavily glyphed, intricate blue kind of artistic design circles the floor where he does, and it stays there. And then this half globe of bluish light goes over it, right? And then it kind of pops. And then it goes away, and that's you detecting magic. You see the magic all across the room. That blade he's got goes
Magic.
and goes away. He points magic.
Magic.
The hippo
Magic.
glows.
Since I have nothing to
The
do
hippo,
about it,
glows? Identify. Not all your shitty dagger hands.
I'm kicking nuts on his spellcaster.
Oh my god.
It's fine, I can cast Identify again.
Yeah, just like fall over.
I have a lack of
So, you know, you have to be looking at it, and when you're looking around, you're like, oh, you're magical. You look down, and you see the hippo glowing. Because everything glows and exudes, so you see this like fuzzy blue hippo in your pocket. Right? Oh, and you pull it out.
My God.
What?
It's magic. It's a magical hippo.
So, when you say the magical incantation, which because of Identify you now know, it summons a hippo.
What? Under my control?
You don't know.
What?
It summons a hippo.
It summons a hippopotamus.
Just like an actual hippopotamus.
You believe so.
What are the-
So remember, Identify is...
Doesn't always give you
It doesn't always give everything, and it's always based on kind of the magic that created it, but it is a token of hippo summoning.
So for a standard action, it gets on him.
Yes. Summon one hippo.
I'm gonna take one more roll on my Bard
Question,
notes
sir.
and see if I know
It summons a
anything
hippo.
about
Okay, are you telling us this, or is this just stuff that you know?
I would have said that. I'd be like,
Yeah, no,
I
I
summon a
don't.
hippo. This
I'll
summons a
take
hippo.
another story.
I have a
What
portable
about a
hippo.
dagger and what about a hippo?
He's showing everyone, he's like, I can summon a hippo! He's like holding it.
I wonder if I like activate
Is that
and
like
throw,
a-
they get hit by a throw, like would it turn into a hippo mid-air and like hit them?
I
That'd
was
be
just gonna
hilarious.
say, is that like a boat in a box thing?
So-
Oh my god.
And if I say
So
no,
the
I'm gonna
word,
back-
the word, which I can't pronounce as a human schleb, is actually the draconic word for
I
hippopotamus.
speak Draconic, that's good.
There you go.
Convenient.
So without that, you wouldn't be able to. I mean, you can still learn the word,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
need to study this more, see if it's reusable or not.
right? You don't know.
No.
You'd have to get closer level to the person who made it. They identify to give you
I'm not
more.
gonna use it anytime soon unless we're about that. And then I'll use my alacrity cogitation to identify the dagger.
Okay. You then gleefully take the hippopotamus and put it back in there.
This was worth it.
Pocket hippo.
And you hold the blade. Yes, as you identify it. You watch dark magic rise off the blade. It's a cursed blade. It's a dagger of binding.
So it is cursed.
So it's a +1 magical dagger, but it does 1 point of damage to you when you equip it. And while you're using it, you can't use your hand because it binds to you.
So as far as cursing goes, huh?
1 point.
D4 plus 1.
So he explains this to you.
So basically, it's not bad, but it's gonna hurt you every time you use it. And that's about it.
Yeah. Like while you're using it, you have to take a move equivalent to unbind it.
But it is a magical dagger, so it's basically indestructible.
So if you're willing to deal with the pain,
Without love.
can't get enough.
We'll use this in a situation like later.
I mean, it's definitely useful. I mean,
Or you could sell it.
It comes from the fact
It'd be
that
worth a lot of money.
that bone,
Is
the antler, is
Just don't tell
pterodon.
them it's cursed. Just
It's
tell
what?
them
Is the sheath part of the magic item?
Yes.
Okay,
That's how you unbind it.
So if you lost the sheath, you would have.
You would be
forever,
effed.
until you got like decursed.
Yep.
Okay. So keep the sheath. Don't lose.
Were the bonus from what?
So there's a mystical creature in Parl that looks like a giant bird with a elk head that eats the flesh of men and mortals, and they're called like pterodons, and it's spelled weird. But anyways, these mythical creatures are known to have magical properties because they're a magical creation made by evil wizards at some point. No one's quite sure. It's kind of the same thing along like a griffin. How did this creature come into being? But imagine like a 8-foot tall green bird with a elk head and like griffin legs, and they eat anything. They'll eat other horses. They'll eat anything. Well, all you know from the Identify is this antler is from one of those. This is probably why the dark magic is from it. It's they're called pterodons.
Pterodon dagger.
Nice.
That's some pretty evil shit.
The first 2 magical items of the game.
Pass you
A portable
a
hippo?
pencil.
And a dagger.
Statue of hippo power.
I'm a really curious about
Yeah,
that hippo.
I want, like, if it turns to a hippo midair, I'm gonna throw it. It's
Oh,
probably gonna be
hell
jarred.
yeah.
It's probably gonna be jarred or something. I'm like, no, he's jarred! Throw a fucking hippo.
Here, hold this. Oh, it's your hippo. Oh god!
And then activated his fucking crutches.
Oh, nice. All right.
That'd be amazing.
Well, now you use your spells. You guys, if you want spells back, you have to rest again.
Well, I have one first level spell left.
Okay. So it's up to the party. You gain your spells.
I have one attack spell left.
You don't really have anyone unless someone has a spell to do it. You don't know like how long you've been down here, but you feel
Feels like
as
a
though
day
you've
or
rested enough. Due to the situation, nobody gets any general hit points back from resting because it's not a good enough place to
Comfortable.
rest.
Although
Time to
I
study.
will, anybody that is injured that I haven't magically healed, that's only missing like 1 or 2 hit points, I will just normal heal check those
Okay.
peeps. If you want me to make a roll for it, I can.
Well, that's up to them to tell you they need it, or for them to be so injured that you have to spot it.
Yeah.
So first of all, if anyone's at 25% hit points, you're not going to hide it very well.
I'm at
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Like, I'd offer to try and put something on your back where the scorpion got you.
I'm good.
Alright.
Did you put the other strength back?
Yes.
It's about the time when the party's deciding that they're probably done with this area when you hear a strange sound, and it's pretty loud because it's over the sound of the water. It sounds like someone dragging like a cow carcass across the concrete. It's like a wet sliding noise that's incremental or that's constant. So it goes.
We don't have any torches.
It's getting closer